You went through the same schools. You know what wasn't taught. You know what wasn't said. You know exactly what fell through the cracks. Because you were one of the things that fell. And yet, here you are, handing your child to that same system, trusting it to do better, expecting a different outcome. Honestly, though, make it make sense. Let me start with something that might be uncomfortable to hear. Every parent has the legal right to raise their child, however they see fit. Hear me out before you turn this off. The law only requires that you provide food, reasonable shelter, reasonable clothing, and that you send your child to school. That's it. There is no legal requirement on the quality of the food. No requirement on the quality of the shelter. No requirement that you understand your child's educational needs, advocate for them, or make intentional decisions about their future. Year by year, the only reason attendance is enforced is because school funding is tied to it, not because the law actually requires you to be present. So technically, you can send your child to school every day and do absolutely nothing else and be within your legal rights as a parent. I want you to sit with that, because what that means is intentional parenting is a choice, not a requirement. And far too many parents are choosing the minimum and calling it enough. Let me tell you a story. During COVID, I formed a learning pod with 6 boys. We hired a teacher. We committed to making sure our sons did not fall behind while the world figured itself out. One of the mothers in that pod, whose son had been struggling academically for years, looked around at what we had built and said, "This is the best attention and focus he has ever gotten. Why can't the school do this?" And then she said, "I just assume the school will do the best for him." I had no words. I want to be careful here because I don't say this with judgment. I say it with genuine bewilderment. There is no reflection on my own experience in public school, no conversation with my family or friends. That leads me to an absolute trust that the system will do its best for any child. Not one. And yet this mother, a good mother, a loving mother, had handed her son to that system and assumed it would figure him out. Now let me tell you about a different mother. My mother is functionally illiterate. She was a janitor, a waitress, a window washer. She could not help me with a single assignment. There were no books in our home. I was a latchkey child, walked to school alone, walked home alone, let myself in, did my homework, did my chores, and yet my mother set high expectations with no excuses. Every grade had to be explained. Not just shown, explained. What I would keep doing, what I would improve, what I would stop. She randomly showed up at my classroom window, just to look at me, just so I knew she was watching. And every single year, every single teacher, she sat down with them and said the same thing. "This is my daughter. If she causes you any problems, call me. If she is not meeting the marks, call me before there is a problem. If she needs help and is not asking for it, call me. I will make sure she has everything she needs. Do not let my child slip through the cracks." My mother could not read, but she understood one thing completely, that the school would do what it was going to do, and that her job was to make sure they knew she was paying attention. This is why I have very little patience for parents who have more than she had and do less. Before I go further, let me acknowledge something real. Parenting is hard. It does not come with a manual. As mothers, we are managing emotional, physical, mental, and developmental needs all at the same time, and often alone, even when we are married. The overwhelm is real. The exhaustion is real. The feeling that there is never enough of you to go around. That is real. And for those of us with more than one child, that weight is multiplied. I am not standing here pretending this is easy, but I am standing here saying, if we don't slow down long enough to build an intentional vision for our children, we cannot turn around and blame the school when the gaps show up. Because here is what the gaps actually cost. When a parent is disengaged, when there is no vision, no structure, no accountability, the child pays for it. And it doesn't show up all at once. It compounds. It starts with self-worth. A child who watches their peers get opportunities they don't have, access they don't have, experiences they don't have. That child begins to internalize a story about themselves. And that story becomes shame. And shame becomes rebellion. Two emotions that will drive every decision that follows. In the wrong direction. Now, let me show you what showing up actually looks like. Versus going through the motions. A parent going through the motions does not have a system. They only engage with the school when the school contacts them first. Nothing is proactive, nothing is initiated. They have no idea what their child should be learning at their current grade level, which, I want to be clear, is one Google search away. They have not created a learning environment at home. No protected space for work. No boundaries around devices. No requirement that the child explain not just what they did, but how well they did it, and what they would do differently. And they have not built a vision for their child. They cannot name their child's gifts. They cannot see their child's gaps. They are reacting, never leading. The Bible says it plainly, where there is no vision, the people perish. That is not metaphor. That is a description of what happens to a child whose parent has never stopped to ask, who is this child becoming, and what is my role in that becoming? The parent who does all of this, who shows up consistently, annually, monthly, weekly, daily, is exhausted, is tired, likely needs help and support. But that parent has put their child on the best pathway of whole life success that love and intention can produce. If you have been listening to this episode and recognizing yourself, I need you to stay with me right here. Not because I'm going to shame you, but because this is the part that matters most. Change is hard. Accountability is hard. Admitting where we have fallen short is hard. But so is watching your child struggle year after year. Hard is knowing your child will have limited options. Hard is sitting in the frustration of not knowing what to do or how to help. It is all hard. We have to choose our hard. Breaking the cycle does not start with guilt. It does not start with beating yourself up for everything you didn't do. It starts with truthful acceptance. What has to be different? What actions in yourself have to change? What excuses in yourself have to stop? Not blaming the child for doing what children do. Test, push, challenge, refute, and resist every single thing you're trying to build. But accepting the full responsibility of creating, maintaining, and managing an educational success system for your child. Even when they don't want it. Even when they fight it. Even when they can't see yet what you are building for them. Now let me tell you what I had to confront in myself. Because I would be a hypocrite if I stood here pointing fingers without turning the mirror on myself. The biggest obstacle I had to face was that I was overcompensating for the absence of their father. Their dad wasn't present the way they needed. And I watched them carry that pain. So instead of sitting in it with them, instead of getting them the support they needed to process those emotions, I tried to redirect it. I took them to every event, every activity, every birthday party, every amusement park. I was replacing the hard with the fun. And meanwhile, they weren't reading daily. They weren't practicing math. They weren't building the habits they needed. And I couldn't blame anyone but myself. The moment I took full ownership, I did what I should have done first. I got them into therapy to process their emotions, with real skills and real tools, and I held them academically accountable with the routines and structures they needed. They had to earn the fun through their effort. And it paid off. Tenfold for both of them. I'm telling you this because I need you to know. The mirror is not just for someone else. It has been for me too. Let's close with something you can do. Not next month, now. First, ask yourself the honest question. Based on where my child is today, academically, intellectually, emotionally, physically, mentally, if they continue developing at this rate, where will they likely be at 18? And then at 25, these two ages matter. At 18, what are their options immediately after high school? In life, in health, in wealth, in relationships? At 25, after significant time in school or work, what does their life likely look like? If that picture makes you uncomfortable, good, let it move you. Second, start with the not because easy is enough, but because you need a win. You need the psychological momentum of doing one thing right before the harder things ask more of you. So look at these 4 strategies and pick the one that already has the resources behind it. Build a vision for your child based on their interests and gifts. Meet with their teacher and share that vision. Ask how they can partner with you. Look up what your child should be learning this year. Use AI if you need to. Prompt it like this. My child is in this grade. We live in this city and state. We attend this school district. I don't understand educational language very well. Give me a summary I can understand of what my child should be learning this year. Protect a learning environment at home. Space, no devices, no distractions, and require your child to explain their work, not just show it. Pick one, start there, build from it. Third, build the vision. Start with what drives your child. What are they interested in when the screens are gone? What are they good at, even if they don't love it yet? Think through what that could become professionally. Be honest about the skills they need to strengthen and the ones they already have that need to go deeper. Then, talk to your child about it. Be explicit. Tell them why decisions are being made and how each one connects to where they are going. Choose summer activities aligned to that vision. Name out loud how the structure you've built gets them closer to the goal. This is how vision is built, and this is how you enroll your child into it. So they are not just living your plan, but beginning to own their own. That's honestly, though, for today. We said the thing, we held up the mirror, and we gave you somewhere to put it. If this hit close to home, that means it was for you. Share it with the parent who needs to hear it, but hasn't said it out loud yet. They need this more than they know. New episode every week. We'll see you then.